Jeffrey Epstein died in custody in 2019, but a lot of questions still remain. Who else was involved? What documents are still sealed or undisclosed? And what are survivors still battling for? These are the threads that are still unresolved, and they matter. What's happened so far? Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's close associate, was convicted for her role in procuring girls for him. August 2019, in a federal jail cell, Epstein passed away, officially ruled a suicide by hanging. A big piece of the controversy is the plea deal that Epstein got, negotiated under Alex Acosta when he was the U.S. attorney in Florida. Many critics say that it was far too lenient and shielded many associates or potential wrongdoers. What's currently unfolding? Here's the active issues and the investigations that are making the news right now. Release of the documents, the transparency push. The House Oversight Committee has released over 33,000 pages from the Department of Justice related to Epstein. Many of the files were subpoenaed. A lot of the newly released materials are largely duplicates or previously known, but there are still redactions for victim identities and child SA material. Survivors are pushing for all documents to be released. They argue that it is shameful that they have not been contacted by the DOJ in months, even though officials, current and past, keep saying investigations are ongoing. The client list and other associates, federal law enforcement, the DOJ and the FBI, recently released a memo saying that they found no credible evidence that Epstein trafficked children, young girls, to powerful third parties beyond himself. They also say that there is no verified client list. Survivors strongly dispute that, pointing to witness statements, depositions naming powerful people, and calls for release of the FBI's FD 302 interview reports, congressional action and oversight. Former U.S. Attorney Alexander Acosta is set to testify before Congress about the original plea deal. The Treasury Department has agreed to turn over financial records related to Epstein and Maxwell to congressional oversight committees. Judges have refused requests to publicly name two women alleged as co-conspirators in cases filed against Jeffrey Epstein, citing their privacy and safety, with prosecutors supporting that decision. Survivals and legal remedies. Survivors keep seeking better legal standing, transparency, and justice. Some have argued they were denied their rights under the Crimes Victims' Rights Act when the 2008 plea deal was made, since many were not informed or included. There is also legislation being proposed to strengthen survivors' rights in these contexts. Questions and disputes remaining, discrepancies over what documents exist, what is being withheld, and on what legal basis. Conflicting claims about whether there were actions or evidence pointing to other high-profile individuals beyond Epstein. How Epstein's death was managed, guard shifts, surveillance, camera blind spots, still draws scrutiny, though the official position remains that it was suicide. Where things are stalling and what's next. What roadblocks remain and what's still coming? Sealed files and redactions. Much of what survivors want is still sealed, heavily redacted. Names of alleged co-conspirators and witness interview files. Moving those files into the public domain is one of the central battles right now. Legal legislative pressure. Bills are being introduced, for instance, to bolster victims' rights, and congressional subpoenas are being issued to Acosta and Epstein's estate. Oversight committees are pushing hard. Survivors' engagement? Survivors say they have had little or no contact from the DOJ. Advocates want more than statements. They want meaningful disclosure, consultation, and accountability. Public belief in conspiracy theories? Given the high-profile nature, there is intense speculation, often overlapping with conspiracy theories, about other people involved, whether the death was really a suicide, etc. Institutions like the FBI and the DOJ are consistently defending their findings, but under intense public pressure. Key questions still unanswered. To wrap up, here are the biggest outstanding questions. Who exactly are all the co-conspirators or facilitators, if any, and why haven't their names been revealed fully? What was the full extent of the client list, if any, and why was the claim no credible evidence made given existing testimonies? What internal DOJ and FBI documents that haven't been released or reviewed, FD 302, reports, etc.? Was the handling of Epstein's death completely compliant with standard procedure, or were there lapses that warrant further investigation? How will the survivors be compensated or have their legal rights enforced, especially in cases where the statute of limitations or secrecy deals limit what they can do? Conclusion: Jeffrey Epstein's case isn't just over because he passed away. It's still very much alive in courtrooms, in congressional hearings, in survivors' lives, and in public record. The question of who else might be involved, what the government knew and when they knew it, and how survivors are treated are still very much in flux. Thanks for sticking around, everybody. Appreciate it. Appreciate your view. Hang in there. None of this is over yet. There's way more to come.